Hey guys, Momoguru here, and I'm going to give you the basics of PvP. Now, a lot of you players, especially the new ones, have been asking me, what PvP is like, so I figured I'd go ahead and make a little demo video. This isn't as much as a tutorial per se, but it's more of just an explanation of how the general basics of PvP work, so that the newer players have something to look forward to. Alright, so you're going to need some basic tools. You're going to have a SATNet manager, and that's going to allow us to jump into the agents network. Now, once you get into the agents network, the best way to learn PvP is to practice on yourself. So as all these agents load up, you can sit here and wait forever, but that's not necessary. And yes, all of these dots are real players in the game. There are no fake ones. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and abort the load, jump into the database view, and do a search for my own user IP address. Alright, so you go ahead and search for your own user IP address, and go ahead and jump into your gateway by connecting to yourself. And what this will let you do is take a look at your own log files left by other players trying to connect to you. You also have access to your private chat room, your proxy, and an administration area where you can set permissions for your friends. But that's not what we're getting into on this video. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. We're already connected to myself, and I'm going to open up my diagnostics module. You can take a look here and see that I've taken some damage, and the way that you use the diagnostics module is with scripts. Now you can do command line commands to list everything out in the game, and you can do lists of all the scripts and things that way. But for purposes of this video, I'm just going to jump into the file manager and show you what I have set up here. Now, in each of my scripts, all do something different. Some of them repair, some of them are viruses, some of them are exploits, some of them force your connection to do different things, and they're all used in very particular and special ways. Some for PvP, some more for servers. In general, the majority of them are pretty well balanced in both directions. Alright, so what I'm going to do is repair my connection here before I start doing anything. And although I don't need to be connected to myself to do it, I can use a remote repair, which means whoever I am connected to will be repaired. So you can see I got a remote repair script running, and I'm also going to go ahead and run a normal standard repair. This will repair my connection up a little bit, and each time it cycles through and runs, it takes so much time, and then it heals myself up. Alright, so you'll notice that we also have attack scripts. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few of these attack scripts. I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to close these. I'm going to unload these. Now, all of these commands can be saved into a notepad document, and that notepad document can be compiled into a batch file to make it easier for you to do things. Rather than having to type out script.load, the name of the script file, .1, I've created a batch file that does it all for me. So to use that batch file, I'm going to go ahead and show you what the document looks like. I've got two of them ready to go. Batch.repair, batch.attack. So I'm going to go into this file here and drag my notepad on top. And we're going to take that batch off so it just says repair. And I'm going to add a new file. Now what I'm going to do here is compile this document into a batch. And the way that you do that is with the Hexaguru batch compiler. Drag it on top of the program, hit execute, and it will transform that file into a batch file, and you'll now notice that it has a little BAT. If I try to drag my document editor back on there, it won't do anything. However, now I can repair myself with all of my script components by typing batch dot and the name of the batch file, repair. If I can spell it right. Alright, so you see each one of my repair scripts are loading up, and all of a sudden they all start at the same time. That's a lot faster than me trying to do it manually. So let's go ahead and stop these, and I'm going to show you what happens when you attack. Now as soon as I start to attack, you're going to notice that my trace tracker goes off, and the amount of time that you have for your trace tracker is solely based on the difference in between levels. If the person you're attacking is of lower level, you're going to have less time. If the person you're attacking is of higher level, you're going to have more time. Alright, so let's go ahead and create this new file. Close that, grab my batch compiler on top of there. I already got it running. Let's drag that on and execute. And now what we'll be able to do is load up our attack packets. Now one of the things you're going to want to put in the front of your batch files maybe is the script unload.all command, which will remove all the scripts that I already have. So all I have to do is type batch.attack. And what it's going to do is load up all my attack scripts and get them running. And there we go. So now I'm going to severely damage my connection. And by doing so, I'm going to be allowed to run some exploits. Now remember, in PvP, timing is everything. So I'm going to go ahead and stop two of these and load up two exploits that I want to run by the time my connection goes out. The first exploit I'm going to run is going to take out my view of the hit points right here. It's not going to let me see the remote view, and if I want to see how much health I have or how much health they have, I'm going to have to type net.health or look up into my little area over here and try to get a readout on my hardware. Another way that you could do that would be to open your hardware directly, and you can watch these little health bars go up and down as you're being damaged. You can swap out damaged hardware with fresh hardware, and that's a great idea if you've got enough damage and you need to get your shields back up online, because once a component goes all the way down, your shields will cut off completely. So what do shields do? Well, it's pretty simple. A shield acts like a buffer. So as the damage is going to come in, once my shield starts up, that damage will be absorbed by the shield until the shield is knocked down. You can boost up your shield so that it repairs faster, but it's going to make you type in these little codes, and it's a pain in the ass to do on the fly. Alright, so you can see my connection scripts are about to go through again. My HP con killer, which will knock out this view and crash this part of my diagnostics module, and the other exploit I have running is going for my script GUI, which is this window right here. That will completely eliminate my ability to click and use the GUI to load and unload scripts and change up my attacks and try to defend myself, which will force me to use the command line. Now, all the commands are listed by typing help, so it's in your best interest to learn each one very well. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can install programs, uninstall programs, navigate servers, connect to different SAT-nets, use and load up bounce route manager lists. So practically everything you can do is in the diagnostics module, and if you're smart, you can put yourself together a really nice batch that will help automate a lot of the processes that become tedious. So think smart and play smarter, not harder. Alright, so you can see my connection is starting to drop down here a little bit. It's showing what I have here, and it's showing what the remote version is showing. And as these scripts execute, I think it's going to take about one more time. You can see my shields are almost up about 94%, and I'll be able to absorb some damage on my shields. Oh, it's going to get close. Are they going to execute in time? Alright, my shields made it up. You can see it. I got a number 2000 here, and as those attacks come through, all of a sudden that damage is going to be taken off my shield, but that was a big hit. I just got hit for 8 times, right around 450 damage, knocked my shield right offline really, really fast. Alright, so I've lost my shield, which means I'm going to have to start it again, and I'm pretty sure a next volley of attacks is going to come through before my shield restarts, which means I'm going to lose this component. Now, as soon as this component becomes disabled, not only do the programs and things that I have running on my system slow down, but all of a sudden I'm going to lose the ability to use the GUI on the diagnostics module. So I'm going to go ahead and unload one of these scripts and go ahead and show you the last exploit, which will actually crash your command line. So then all you'll have is this one little box. You'll have to type blindly. You won't be able to see what's happening, and before you know it, you're in the dirt. So what happens if you get killed all the way? If somebody takes out all 4 of your components, well, your system fails. It punts you offline. It takes about 6-7 minutes for the Codelink tech representatives to repair your system, and then you're up and good to go. Alright, you see one of my GUIs has crashed, which means now I can't get a readout on how healthy I am. I'm going to have to look up over here. Well, lucky for me, I know exactly what I'm attacking, so it's not a big deal. I'm going to go ahead and turn off all of these attack scripts because they no longer need to take out my component any longer, and if this was a real fight, I would probably be changing it up, loading other types of attacks on other components. Now, as you start attacking one thing, another player is attacking another, and it's like a big giant game of rock, paper, scissors trying to figure out how to get the advantage over another player. Alright, so if I want to get my GUI back up, I'm going to have to repair some part of my modem, because you see I've lost my entire connection. So I can do that in a couple ways, and one way is I'm just going to unplug one of the pieces of damaged hardware, and I'm going to plug in a piece that's working okay. So let me get rid of that one. I can also repair it right here. You see, I can go ahead and repair the piece and then reinstall it, and it should push back up my exploits. That's what it looks like when your whole GUI crashes. You can see each one starting to boost. But now that I've got one healthy component here, and it threw a little bit of the health back on, all of a sudden my GUIs will uncrash. Now I've only got 2 seconds, and I got to disconnect. Alright, so these should be booting back up. Alright, I'm back in full-fledged, and that's what it looks like during PvP. Now, there are a lot of elements to it. It can get really tricky, it can get really complex. If you got good timing and you're watching, you know, how much time does it take before I'm going to be able to take out the component so that I should start loading up these exploits, you know, it's all trial and error. Alright, so that gives you just a general idea of some of the PvP. Now there are a lot of other things you can do. There's a lot of different viruses. If you come in here and look, once I start taking out certain components, I can scramble the chat view so that you can't read what's being chatted. I can force you to repay all your loans. I can start corrupting parts of your memory and change your background. I can crash the scripts that you have running. I can make your files unusable on your desktop. I can grab files from you and force you to email them to me. There's lots of little different things you can do, but like I said, it's all self-explanatory once you get to that point. So here I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of what PvP looked like and some of the things that you can do when you're fighting other players. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you on the dark side.